the situation that we're in over the last week and a half. You know that I am a reader and I read daily different things. And I've been reading a lot about this particular virus, the coronavirus. I've been reading quite a bit about that, and that some information that has come forward from Wuhan, where the virus is said to have begun. I'm not 100% clear that's true, but what is said to be true is that it began in Wuhan. And what I need you to know is the virus has an operating protocol. The virus creates a cough, and then the cough generates mucus, a cough or a sneeze, or a cough and a sneeze. And it generates mucus, not just a little bit, but quite a bit. It's interesting because it seems like the cough, the sneeze, and the mucus will mirror flu, which is also a virus. But where this particular virus changes is that it causes the mucus to begin to harden. And the mucus begins to harden in the lung area. And then here Chris Owsley is come on from down there in Milwaukee. They let him back in Milwaukee on the strength. You know what I'm saying? He's in Milwaukee watching us on streaming. And so what I'm talking about here is the hardening of the mucus that is captured in your throat, and it hardens to the point that it does not allow breath. And then that becomes an upper respiratory issue. And in your chest area, you're struggling for a breath because the mucus, which you don't, is hardening. And because we don't understand hardening of mucus, we believe it's just the flu. And so the difference is that mucus begins to harden in the lung cavity, closing off the air, forcing the chest cavity to work harder. And that is where individuals end up losing their lives, is because they're unable to draw another breath. And so what people have learned in both Italy and in Wuhan about ways to manage coronavirus is through drinking of hot water or warm water headed towards heat with a lemon or lime inside. Let me tell you why that is. Because the coronavirus can't tolerate heat. It automatically dies off at what I think is about 96 degrees Fahrenheit. And I don't understand what it is Celsius. I can't make that mathematical adjustment for you, but you could look it up. But at 96 degrees Fahrenheit, the coronavirus can't survive. It begins to melt away, pass through the lungs into the stomach, and then out the drought. Well, this is what we want for it to do if we come in contact with it. And so what I've been doing, my wife and I, is that every morning we're starting out the morning with having, and there's Mike Liddell there, we're starting out the morning with having a very warm, as warm as you can take it, cup of water with a lemon or lime twist, or it could be ginger. It could also be garlic for those of you who could tolerate that. I tried it with garlic. It wasn't all that tasty, but I went on with it anyway because I don't want to be I don't want to contract this virus or any other. So what I'm sharing with you now are some preventive uh, methods that you can use to keep it at bay. One can be infected but not succumb to it if we're doing the things that keep the mucus flowing through our lungs into our stomach and then out in our stool. So these are some important prevention orientated methods that you can use to protect yourself and to protect your family. Having said that, I want to go back for a moment into into tonight's acts of faith. Um, where it talks about living in and with the ways of God places you in alignment with the substance of God. And tonight I want to talk about, while you're ingesting chicken and we're ingesting our dinner and all of these and that, what I don't want you to ingest is stress. Somebody needs to mute their mic though, so that we don't all hear what you're saying in the background. Somebody who, please just mute your mic. Yeah, for a moment anyway. Listen, what I want you to think about tonight is stress ingestion. And Mike, Chris Owsley. Chris, can you mute your mic, please?
It's not me.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you. Just make sure your mic is muted so we don't catch your background noise there where you're at. And so, anyway, this stress ingestion piece is a huge piece, and we are struggling with it, each one of us on our own terms. For us at POP, we deal with ex-offenders on one side, we deal with education on the other side. Both of those things are shut down. And so, and therefore our income flow is shut down. And so suddenly we have to reach for some old dollars or some savings or some other things to keep the daily operational things afloat. Mortgages, of which we have four, car insurance and all of these things that you have. Now, these things can stress you out, especially if you also have to manage parole. And in that parole management, you also have to manage your personal behavior that you would automatically or normally have to manage without the virus. So now the virus adds in some ways to this stress ingestion piece. And I want us to be very careful, us who have been trained in POP, not to ingest the stress and allow it to take us over and cause us to become desperate thinkers. Right. Because desperation has never been a good thing for any of us, right? And so we want to be careful that we don't allow the things of the virus to cause us to eat the stress therein. Everybody is going through the same thing here in America and around the world. The incomes are slowing down for different reasons. If you're still working and drawing a paycheck, you're blessed. But in that blessing, don't allow yourself to spend erroneously or foolishly, because your situation could change in a day or a week or a month. It's our understanding here in Minneapolis that the school year, which is currently shut down until April 6th, is probably going to be shut down on April 6th for the rest of the year, right? And so school probably is out for the year. The chance, that means all the bus drivers, all of the aides, and all of the various workers will be out of work. What we don't want to do is become so stressful that we turn on each other. I'll wait for all the amens to die down. What we don't want to do is wait for for stress to cause us to turn on each other. Let me tell you what I mean by that. We don't want to become edgy with our loved one. We don't want to become edgy with our children. We don't want to become edgy with our employees at work or in the stores where people are being seen fighting over toilet paper. Is that amazing? That you would be, somebody would be fighting about some toilet paper. It's amazing to me. Well, what I certainly don't want is for Pop Guys and our loved ones to allow the stress of the day to be ingested and create its own disease. Stress is a disease that we've all experienced already. And for the most part, you won't face anything more stressful than your time in the penitentiary. I'll wait for all the amens to die down. Now, if you were able to manage that stress, then you're certainly able to manage this stress. And even though the state of Minnesota may go within the next week or so to a modicum of a shutdown, where it's a stay in place type deal. You know, they're asking you to be in your homes only go out in cases of emergency to the store and back, to the doctor and back. This, I have a feeling this is going to happen here in Minnesota in the next week or two. You already see this happening in New York. It's in Chicago, which is just 800 or 600 miles away from us. These cities, it's happening in Seattle. These cities are shutting down in some ways, and those individuals, the reason for the shutdown is to quiet the curve of people who become impacted. Now, interestingly enough, I read today that Hennepin County currently has no cases. Ramsey County has the cases, and then there has been one succumbing to the coronavirus, COVID-19, one in Ramsey County. Now, it's Hennepin that is the largest. There's 87 counties in the state of Minnesota. Hennepin is the largest county. Now, if the numbers begin to ratchet up in Hennepin County, this, in my mind, will be what forces the governor's hand to shut down the state of Minnesota, meaning order in place, or some terminology they call it. I can't think of it right this minute, but it basically means stay your butt home. Well, how does that impact your parole? How does that impact your job? I want to share with you that you need to be proactive. If you continue to be on parole and you have an agent that you need to deal with, and we all know how different agents handle things very differently, but you want to be proactive about contacting your agent about what is his or her operating protocol for your movement during a shutdown. See what I mean? You be proactive about that. Be calling them ahead of time, ahead of the shutdown. Your agent should hear from you tomorrow saying, hey, what is the protocol for this? Right? Now, they're not going to have an answer because we're being too proactive. But what we want to do is protect you from whatever their solution is if it doesn't line up, you get it, what they decide is live or Memorex. And so we want to make sure that you're aware and that you are the one driving the ship as opposed to being sitting in the back seat. All right. So further, I'd like for you to think about this with me a little bit, and that is that this whole notion of stress for people not like us, people who haven't lived in through the street or urban environment that some of us have lived in or come out of. Think about what I'm saying now. Some people who have been privileged either by race or by economic conditions or by hard work. Whatever that is, we're not mad about it. But those individuals are individuals who can become overtly or highly stressed because they have never faced the kind of opposition that this virus is presenting to them. And it's actually those individuals that I find fighting over toilet paper and these other kinds of things. So be very mindful as you're interacting with other people that you're keeping your good attitude and your positive attitude in its proper place, because you don't know what the stress threshold is for other people who you come in contact with. You feel me? Hmm. And so for now today, I took my daughter and son Cornelius, who you all know. We went out for a bike ride just to try to get some air and move around the city a little bit. We out in Robbinsdale, and you know what? I found all the people that we saw, which weren't that many, but everybody that we saw was extremely gracious. Was very kind. And I said, oh man, that's the humanity of some people is rising to the top. By the same token, the inhumanity of others, because of stress ingestion, will also rise to the top. In that way, I'm reminding you to be very careful about your words, using your words correctly, right? The 8 steps to the good life begins with words. Using your words correctly to achieve your goal, to communicate effectively and kindly so that the stress level of other people doesn't spill out into your life and force you to make some kind of a irrational decision that for you involves parole and other things, right? Okay. Real quickly, I want to remind you, those of you um, who are on, I want to remind you that um, love is the most powerful tool on the face of the earth. Interestingly, in the acts of faith, love was number 6. There are 51 ways to get help from God, and love was number 6. For me, love is number 1. Because I found out, and I'm so glad about it. I found out the power and the beauty of offering love to my wife, love to my family, love to my children, love to you all. I love Pop Guys, and I'm proud of them. I'm proud of you and the work that you are doing and the way that you are crafting a new life for yourself and your children, the way that you are setting an example for your children to articulate and to emulate. They don't always want to do what you say, but they will always do what you do. And if you do in love, they will do it too. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah. And so watch this now. As we as we get to the point here in the discussion uh, where we're releasing you back to your activities for the night. Remember what I was sharing with you about prevention, keeping the lungs clear with drinking very hot or warm water, warm to as hot as you can take it. Warm water, lemon, ginger, this garlic, any of those additives. It could be warm water by itself if you don't have any of those things. But keep your lungs clear, even if you don't feel any symptoms. Keep your lungs clear. Be proactive. Heat. The virus cannot live in heat. And so we want to give it a shot of heat every morning before we get into our activities. The final piece that I want to share with you tonight, and then I'm going to open it up for reactions from you all. And Wayne's going to have to show me exactly how to do that. I think you unmute your mic and then you can chime in the conversation and we can chat together. Um, I think I think the greatest thing that we can do here in this situation is to not allow stress to be your driver. Stress might be in the back seat, but you have to be the driver, right? And making sure that the stress of the day, the stress that other individuals face, bill paying stress, um, that stress is there, is real, but it stays in the back seat. It's a backseat driver. It doesn't have control of the wheel. You're not getting desperate or doing desperate things. I see a couple of young brothers on TV who had robbed a Cub You know what I mean? No mask or nothing like that. Just, boom, give me the money. And here's a picture of them both. I don't know them, but somebody knows them, right? These guys are going to jail for a long time.
Oh,
Can you imagine going to see a judge uh, in the midst of a coronavirus where you decided to go in and take something from somebody in Cubs?
oh my God.
These boys are going to jail. And it hurt me for them. It hurt me to see it. These are young men who have their future ahead of them, hopefully. It hurts me to see that stress is in the driver's seat.
Wow.
Right. What we have to make sure we do, even though stress is present, we don't want to be unrealistic about it. It's present, but it does not have to be in the driver's seat. I'm dealing with some stressful things, but you know what? Those things are in the back seat. I'm still driving my car.
That's right.
Yeah. And just like it was a week ago or a month ago or a year ago or 10 years ago when I met you, I was driving then, I'm going to keep driving right now. And I don't care what they present, right? What stress presents, it's going to keep us behind in the back seat, and he better fasten his seatbelt. I'm going to open it up for comment and thoughts from the group. And Wayne, how do I do that?
You have to unmute.
So you have to unmute, and then I can hear from you. Brad,
I'm not muted. I'm supposed to be muted.
you were supposed to be muted, but we hear you.
Okay.
Go ahead now. Just go ahead. Brad, what you got?
Yeah, it is stressful.
Hold up, Brad. This is DeAndre. Go ahead, DeAndre.
And I do have a very healthy fear of this situation, and I tend to go inside my head, and yes, I'm stressed, and yes, sometimes I think I can't breathe, man. I get all in my head. I got to stop watching the news. But it is, I guess it is important, man, to have somebody to talk to that's positive, because I don't know. I know my health is compromised because I have so many health problems, and that I even had I got off the bus and walked from downtown to Northeast to my home, man, because I'm just that's how fearful I am of this here, man. But I'm not as fearful to go be robbing nothing or taking nothing from nobody though. I think it's better to just like you say, love. I have been very I think situations like this bring people together. And I don't know if it comes from the times that I come from and the learning that I get. I know a lot of young guys don't have a lot of support, like with morals and core beliefs and stuff like that, man. But I think it's important for older brothers to try to set example for stuff like that. And I'm open for stuff like that.
Wow.
But I'm very glad to be in this meeting with y'all. How everybody doing? I hope everybody's safe.
Wow. Yeah.
Next time, safe.
Hey, yo, give DeAndre some love right there. Give him some dap, because that is I just love him being so honest. And I'm gonna let somebody else give you feedback. Anybody got feedback for DeAndre? Say your name and jump in. Go ahead, Memphis.
Yeah, I just want to say, Papa, I'm just glad to hear you on this Tuesday. You uplifted me today. That's all I want to say.
Wow. And give Memphis a hand right there. Give him some love.
That's right.
Do you know what? Memphis' name is Adam, right? I didn't know that boy's name was Adam. I just found out a couple of days ago that was his real name, Adam. I just call him Memphis. You know what I mean? He said, "Hey, man, what's up?" Now, but I tell you what, I love his spirit, and I love the fact that you're tuning in and trying to get blessed. And if you keep listening, some of this is going to rub off. If you keep hanging out, this is going to pass us by, Adam. If you keep coming, some of this is going to rub off. And just like the guys who are on this screen right now, who I've been messing with for years, but things have rubbed off on them now, and I can see evidence of positive change in their lives. And to be honest with you, it makes my own life worth living.
Right.
So DeAndre, I just want to say this, man, that we got love for you. I don't know if you heard me talk about uh, the prevention piece, but that warm water, very warm, as warm as you can take it, and lemon, or warm water and lime, or warm water and ginger, as hot as you can take it, it keeps your lungs open. And as
Okay.
your lungs being open, don't allow the virus time to set up and do its damage. That's
Huh.
a preventive mechanism that I think is going to be helpful for many. Um, Somebody else jump in. Bradley,
Hey,
go.
Yep.
Hold up,
Hey,
Chris. Go ahead, Brad. Hold up, Chris.
here's what I got. I understand what you're talking about from the stress being the driver. Fortunately, I've been on the phone calling many people telling them that I am stressed and reaching out for help. And one of the things that I've been able to do is get a very solid routine in place with my landlord, who's hired me to disinfect her buildings day and night, and then do some additional work. So I've tried to do is put myself in a routine to actually get some results and to give something back and do something in the station, not just for myself, but for others.
Right. That's give Bradley some hand for that, and that you generated your own income there as your job. Is your job shut down now, right? But
Yeah, shut down.
you guys have
Yeah,
some
till the
pay,
4th of April. Yeah,
right?
we're getting paid right now till the 4th of April, and then they'll revisit it.
You know what I want to. Hey, there goes Will jumping in there. Hey, Will. So what I want to say to you though about stress, Bradley. You know because and I just want to be honest with you. Um, we have to make sure that stress is not a crutch that masks a deeper underlying issue, and that we're not going after the core of that issue, the core of it, right? And
Makes sense.
so
Yep.
the chances are very strong that at the core of your stress is not the job, it's not even relationships that you currently find yourself in, but something else from many, many years ago has been chasing you. And whatever is chasing you has sharp teeth. And whenever it gets close to you, you become stressed. Without the virus, you become stressed, and it causes you to choose things that are unhealthy. Now, now I'm just going to say this and be real honest about it, and it takes work. But the truth of the matter is, I believe that you are afraid to believe in yourself enough to give yourself authority over the stress. You have to trust Bradley like you've never trusted him before to overcome yesterday. And overcoming yesterday requires will, it requires direction, and you have to put a measure of force behind that. You have the ability to be direct and forceful. You're intelligent, and your brilliance is confusing you. This what right here is something within your ability to manage, and you have to just say no to yesterday. We're not in 79. We're not in 82. This is not 85. Some things happen. I don't know what they are, but they're not happening now. But your reflection on them and the sharp teeth that they had then are still nipping at your behind. And I want you to mess around here and recognize that you have the power, and you've demonstrated your power to each and every one of us. But then sometimes you don't believe it yourself. That's just my feedback to you.
Thank you.
All right.
Wait a minute. Wait, hold up. That was a lot, and I want you to give Bradley some love right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate you being willing to receive that. But I'm only giving it to you. I'm only giving it to you in love, Brad. I
I
want
understand that.
I want what's best for you, And I hope you believe that well enough to accept that feedback in the way that I meant it, from the heart.
I understand.
Somebody else, Chris Owsley's jumping in. Go ahead, Chris.
All right, I'm Chris Owsley. I brought a guest today, and she'd like to speak, if you don't mind.
Well, why don't you introduce her and set it up a little better than that.
Okay, this is my fiance Samia.
Samia?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, Samia.
Hi. So I just want to add as far as the things to do for the coronavirus, which is
Hmm.
everything you said is correct too.
Well, thank
uh,
you.
we do because I do that already. I practice holistic living, and I have been since 2013. But honey, pure honey, is another thing that will open your lungs, even for people with asthma. Uh, Putting it in the tea will work. Also, essential oils, eucalyptus, tea tree, and peppermint. Steam the face or put it in a shower with in a steam water, and it'll open everything up.
You know that eucalyptus is a great medicinal tool, and so I'm glad you shared it, Samia, and we're glad to be able to meet you. Now, y'all know Chris has moved from Minneapolis. Now, you didn't know that because he moved like in the nighttime, but he done moved down to Wisconsin, and he done. Samia's love is so strong that she drew that boy. Look, she drew that boy on down to she drew him on down, Will, to Wisconsin. And listen what I'm telling you, Samia, if she have that love for you, son, then you show her love and respect her home, and get yourself busy and find you some suitable employment and act like you know how to take care of your business. You
Yes.
can't lay around there on Samia's dime and this, that, and the third. You got to get up and get situated. Is that right or wrong?
That's
That's
right.
right. That's right. You're right.
Right. So
You hear me, Pop?
you have demonstrated that you're willing to get up and go to work every morning, and even though your employer here is in shock, he can't say that you didn't show up or do a good job when you were there. So take that to your next employer and make this thing work for you, son.
All right, thank you.
Hmm. Give Samia, this new couple, Samia and Chris Osby, give them some love. Mhm. Mike Liddell, go ahead.
Hey guys, I know it's been a while, so
All
I'm
right.
just checking in with you. Completed treatment at the beginning of March, so it's
Hey,
all
give him a
done.
hand for that. Give that boy a hand for that. Good job. Mhm.
Didn't know Chris moved. I wish you would have sent a text to somebody to let me know that, but
Right,
still
right.
love you, Chris.
Ah, that's right.
Thank you.
Yeah. So just wanted
Hey,
to
Pop.
say, I've been out and about in the community. We've been doing a lot of these meetings for folks in the church and whatnot. So just I think it's very important that everybody's remain calm. I've seen just massive panic. It doesn't really help anybody to, cause be part of the havoc. So just remain calm, and I think everything will be okay.
Hmm. Well, Mike, it's good to see you, and we appreciate the work that you're doing. It's Mike and Wayne who have collaborated on helping us become stream available and digitally ready. And so it's because of Mike in some ways that we are able to communicate with the group the way we are right now. So give Mike some love. Um, Mon says one and Mon says two are online, and so we want to hear a little bit from both of them.
Yeah. Well, when you said Brad has to believe in Brad like never before, that was true for me too. Monface has to believe in Monface like never before. When routines change, COVID-19 going on, social isolation. We all have different needs. I have different needs that I need met. Love, touch, affection, community, multi levels of different needs that I need met, right?
Right.
And so what I started to notice about me is a mild irritation, you know, not for any particular reason, but if I know something's wrong, because I know from my own personal experience that when balance is off, certain things like that start to happen. I become irritated, I become less patient with people, and so I have to notice it. And when I notice it, like that awareness, I have to get it off me. And I can only do that by admitting it to myself and second, admit it to somebody else.
Right.
Because it's like, you know, keeping a secret. If I'm keeping a secret, and it just gets bigger and better, tougher than me, you know, and then it starts making my own decisions for me. You know, I'm out of the picture, and I can't let that happen because I have a lot of blessings going on in my life. You know, that becomes myself, and I can't reverse. You know, and if I were to ignore that, I would reverse all earnings that I've accomplished and accumulated along the way to date. You know, and so just being real, you know, getting to okay is something that I have to do nowadays, you know, because there's something significantly wrong, because something will become significantly wrong if I don't pay attention to the small stuff. So finding different to get my needs met, you know, I'm thankful for the online meeting, thankful that my church went online too, you know, so I do those. Not only that I moved into a new place, duplex, you know, got my son living with me now and stuff, and like that's been real occupying of time, sorting everything around, moving everything around, keeping busy at that pace. But you know, that's up until like today. I mean, past that, I don't have too many more projects, so I got to start thinking ahead. You know, I got to start looking at a book. I got to start, you know, thinking about reading something,
Absolutely.
occupying my mind. You know, still find ways to be productive when my routine like work. You
Right.
know, so back to what you said about us and us like never before. You know, knowing more today.
Yes. Ananiah just joined us. So good to see your face. And you know what Montez is saying. I think we all feeling that in a way. But Montez, I'm going to give some feedback to you directly to you uh, because what I believe is again that your childhood, your own childhood, um, was so challenging for you that even in today, it continues to present itself to you as anxiety or um, anxiousness, and and it takes away somehow your ability to relax and just to chill. You know, we are in some cases addicted to doing things, and as especially as ex-offenders, you know, if you've made a list for yourself of things that you want to get done, but that you're checking those things off the list and you get a certain amount of satisfaction from them, but then for a time there are no more things for you to check off. At least it appears that way, and the anxiety begins to set in. But I believe for you, just as I shared with Bradley, is that overcoming our own past, our negative past, is so critical for us being able to tolerate and deal specifically with the things that we are facing right now. Chris Owsley, I'm talking to you. And these things that have happened, oh, they were terrible. There were some things that happened. There were some people who had a virus, and in some cases, they may have presented it as if it was right, but the truth of the matter is, it was demonic and wrong. And here we are, a group of men and even women who are trying to overcome, even now in our 40s and 50s and 30s and 60s, we're trying to overcome the stuff that was done between the ages of, say, 0 and 12 or 13. Well, watch this now. what you have as a gift is intellect, and you have to feed the gift and allow it to feed you. Um, Feed your intellect with good reading. I'm going to suggest a book to you and Bradley called The Deepest Well. The Deepest Well by Dr. Harris. The Deepest Well, it talks about how we have in our lives these very deep wells, and that every now and then, for some reason, something or another will drop the bucket in the well, and we mess around and pull it up and pull it up. And if we take a drink from that water, it has the ability to destroy all the checks and all the progress that you have been making to this point. Now, the dynamics of the deepest well is that in some cases you have to give yourself permission to be okay. No one's going to come and say, "Won't say it, you're here, you've arrived." No one's going to tell you that. You've got to say it to yourself that I am valuable, I am lovable, I am powerful, and I am important. And that is my new reality. And while I did have some of the water from that old well, every now and then I can smell it coming around, but I don't let my bucket down. Because if you let your bucket down into that well, what you're going to pull up is yesterday, and yesterday wants to take possession of what you've accomplished today. And you cannot allow that. You are the guard sitting at the door of your life and your life of your children, right? And so, uh, moving on, I just want to share that I got the love for you and the things that you've been accomplishing and are going to be greater. You got more to do. We got more to do now. You got more battles to fight, more victories to win. You have your son to raise and set an example for him that causes him to move in a path of success. Right? You don't get to be just any 18-year-old. You got to be a specific 18-year-old. Specifically, you have goals, you have dreams, you have ideas, you have thoughts, you have talent, and it's your job and it's up to you to focus on those things and not be a fool to fall back into your own deep well. The young people's, their well was dug by us, just as your well was dug by the people that came before you. Boy, I'm teaching good. I don't hear you saying nothing, but I know I'm telling you the truth.
Preach. No, preach, Pop, I'm here.
At some point, Sherrod, at some point, you have to be the one to close that well off and not allow your children to drink from that water under your operational pretense. Ooh, that's good.
Preach.
Wait, you think it's impossible, but I'm gonna tell you that I got my little 12-year-old purposes at home, my little 12-year-old, and you know what? She don't know nothing about what she can't do. She believes that she can do anything she puts her mind to. It's fascinating to me because she has what I lacked. But because I closed the door of that well, I can give her what I didn't have. And that part of me comes alive. It's not dead anymore, but it's alive in her. And through her, I can watch and interpret my own behavior and my own success through her and what she's able to do. She doesn't fear a challenge, right? She's not scared of math and algebra. She's 11. She's not afraid to dance. She's a dancer. She's not afraid to run track. She'll try anything. You can't tell her she can't do it. And the reason why she's like that is because we have not allowed her to drink from the deepest well.
Amen.
And look, man, you don't get to do that and neither does Montez Jr. You have to look at what your dad is trying to do and find yourself in there. Locate yourself in his effort. Don't believe that somehow it's not going to happen to you because you're you. People will pop you in your head with the quickness and send you to the penitentiary too, whenever you get through. So you have to make sure it's saying to yourself, you know what? I am valuable, I am lovable, I am powerful, and I am important, and I'm not going to the penitentiary.
Amen. Amen.
The children of incarcerated parents find themselves in incarceration unless you close the deepest well off and don't allow them to drink the water. Yeah. Tierra's in here. Tierra, what you got? Wait a minute. Give Franco some love. That was a lot. Give him some love right there.
Yep.
Sherrod is out here. He clapping. He driving down the street and he clapping at the same time. I love it. You pop guy, you. Go ahead, Tierra. What you got?
Yeah, man, that's good, man. It made me think about how, that's living proof of that is my son wanting to be a cop.
Wow.
You know, I mean, you can't want to be a cop if you have any criminal thoughts, man. And so that's just, and that almost brought tears to my eyes when he told me that. So
that's amazing.
Yeah,
how you feeling? You feel better?
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better, man. Yeah.
I was a little bit worried about you. I called you earlier. Ananias, jump in there. What you got, son? Will, you next.
Yeah, I was talking to my son yesterday.
In Chicago.
I got off work, man, and decided to give him a call. He picked up. So I talked to him yesterday. He's up there, man, and he's doing pretty good. They're staying safe. They're staying out of harm's way. That's a beautiful thing. But yeah, I never let my son drink from that well either. I never brought any of that stuff around. Like all that crap that I was into when I was younger, not knowing which way to go, being carried by all types of winds. I didn't bring none of that stuff home to him, so he has no clue about what any of those things are. So he's had no kind of brush-ins with the law. He's 30 years old. He's a homebody. Him and his mom has a bond, and they just kind of like two peas in a pod. One don't go nowhere without the other. So, but so I understand. I do get that, definitely that well. It just kind of reminds me of something that I wrote about that very thing, and I use that term, the well, and it's a poem. I'm gonna find it, and I'm going to bring it to one of the meetings and read it.
Oh, that sounds good, man. I thought you was getting ready to break down right now, though. The way you was setting that up, I'm like, here you go.
Right. Yeah. When you were talking about that deep well, it took me back to that when I wrote that piece, and it's right on those lines. I don't remember it by heart, and I have to dig for it. But when I find it, I promise I will share it with everyone.
Dig for it because for what you're saying. So I have 10 children. So my first set of 5 children I had when I was very young, and I did not have the benefit of this information. And my older children, they okay, but their life has had certain challenges and things involved in it that are leftover dynamics from my life. And each of them have had to find a way to dig themselves out of that hole that I put them in because I believe my name was something other than what it is right now. You get what I'm saying? My name is Dad. My name is Pop. My name is Brother Shane. If you don't call me by one of them 3 names, then you know what? I don't pay you no attention. Because I know who I am.
You're digging that old well. They're digging in that old well.
Digging in that old well. So, I don't give them no depth. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't judging nobody. I'm just saying I ain't got no time for it. I got to move around. Will, what you got?
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. You know, my son, he came over to see me, man, a couple days ago, and we did a little barbecue and all of that. And it was nice because I hadn't seen him in a while. You know,
Right.
uh, but but he was telling me how he was proud of me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And something he said kind of stuck out to me. He told me that you know, he said that he's starting to see. You know what I'm saying? And what that told me, what that taught me was that, sometimes they don't come around right away,
Right.
you know?
Right.
But if
How
we
old is
keep the
your
well
son now, Will?
but if we keep the well clean, meaning that if I stay consistent, then um when he's ready, he can still find his way. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like now he's ready to find his way.
Right. That's
So
beautiful.
that's what stand out to me.
Yeah, and I mean that's so beautiful. And I remember your son when I was over at North Point. I was having a men's group over there. This is probably 15 years ago or 13 years ago. Um, and your son was a part of the group. And then I read a letter to the whole group that you wrote to me. I got the letter right now. But I didn't tell nobody in the group who the author of the letter was. And when I got about 3/4 of the way through the letter, your son raised his hand real high and said, "Hey," he said, "Hey, Pop, Brother Shane, that sounds like my dad." And then I said, "You
Hmm.
know what, son? That is your dad." And that's how we connected. So now without me saying to him or anybody else in the room whose letter it was I was reading, because the letter's context were valuable to all of the participants. But he knew your voice, Will, even though I was reading it, he knew your voice, and he was uncontrollable. He raised his hand uncontrollably. Hey, stop. That sounds like my dad. So when you told me that story of him coming by just now, it made me think of that letter.
How you doing?
Pop, and for me, you know, um, you know, ain't nobody perfect, you
Right.
know,
Yeah,
and
yeah. I just
I
made
make
back
mistakes,
2 weeks ago.
and I got my flaws and this and that, you know, but
Right.
for
Well, he let me
me,
make it on back in, man. I'm just trying to,
the reason why
be
I
peaceful,
continue
humble.
to
I'm listening to
to
my group,
grow,
the guys up there. We have a
um,
group on Tuesday night.
who's that talking
That's
while I'm trying to
Sherrod.
talk?
Sherrod, you got to mute your phone, son.
Yeah, so yeah, like I was saying though, you know, why
It was muted.
you
Sherrod, you got
know,
to mute your phone so I don't hear the background.
It was muted.
Oh, okay. I'm
and
sorry. Go ahead.
why I continue to grow. I think for me, um, the key has been, um, you know, keeping the well clean,
Yeah.
so I can consistently drink from it and
Wow.
grow. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying?
Yeah.
If I, you know, if I start to be inconsistent with in my walk, right now I got other things weighing on my mind. You know what I'm saying? Slowing
Yeah.
me up and from the progress that I want. So, I try to be consistent, Pops. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
You know, with mistakes and all, if I stumble, I try to stumble going forward. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And but that's it, man. The key and for me just has been just being consistent, you know, consistent in the knowledge of who I am, and just keep trying to stay in tune with the time. So I know, man, I'm always doing the right thing. I'm always, striving and, trying to stay on the right frequency, man.
Mm-hmm. Tony Campbell just jumped on. We appreciate him. What's going on, T?
You got to unmute.
No, he did right. He muted it first, so because
Yeah.
that boy had it going on. But Sherrod, go ahead, man. What you got?
Hold on.
Yeah,
I
and
can't
unmuted.
hear you yet.
Tell him unmuted, man.
No, he was trying to do the right thing,
Yeah.
Sherrod,
Yeah,
good.
yeah, I'm with everything, but I'm moving right now. But yeah, everything. Yeah, I mean, I think that when your kids see a lot of things that they see you doing, they look at you as that's something that's taken from you and given to themselves to make it seem like it's okay for them to do things. And if you allow your kids to drink from that well and see things, just like you were talking last week, Pops, about the cursing and all that stuff, and your kids don't and all that things right there. So if your kids doing certain things follow lead, we are like their experience to what life is about. You know, some kids hold on to things. I had a buddy that dad did dope.
Right.
I had two that parents did dope. One followed that lead because that's what he grew up around, and then the other one didn't like it or hated it. I mean, what it did to his dad. So I mean, give and take thing. Whereas the kids will see something that the mom doing or the dad doing, and they're going to say that's something that I want to do, or they can sit up and they can say, well, that's something that I'm not going to do because I didn't like how it affected my. So, like you said last week, to sum it up is, yeah, you gotta watch what you do around your kids and try to teach them the best way to live and keep all that other stuff outside the house. I don't bring that stuff home to my house.
That's good. That's good. And you got some kids getting up there, right?
Yeah, all my kids, bro.
Yeah, man. So, this thing ain't no joke. And especially like what we're saying now that this virus has introduced itself on top of whatever other drama your well has got you involved in. I mean, this becomes an insurmountable amount of circumstances. And we want to make sure we're giving our people that come after us and every opportunity, whether they choose it or not, is going to be ultimately up to them. But we have to create a pathway that gives them an opportunity to not have to drink from the same identical cup you drank from. Go ahead, Tony, what you got? TX, what you got? Hit your mute button.
Pop, I'm on here when y'all ready.
No, we go ahead.
This Calvin. I just want to say hello to all the brothers.
Calvin calling from down south. Go ahead.
I want to say hello to all the brothers and bless y'all, man. We're going through a trial and tribulation. And I know, just like Pop just got through saying about that deep well, that well drives deep. And I don't need my girls to understand the well that I was drinking out of, that they could be influenced by anybody else with that well, because sometimes things you do come back to haunt you.
Yeah.
And my one little baby, my baby girl is letting me know, because when she see me when I was on the video smoking a cigarette, she's like, Daddy, you smoke? I had to drop them things.
Right.
So now I know she's paying more attention to me.
Yeah.
And she's loving me even more because she said, well, I don't see my dad do what he used to do.
Right.
And she ain't number 12. She thinks she's 13, but she's 12.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I can't let this well drop down into her system for her to be able to drink from where I used to be.
Yes,
so I call it breaking that cycle. And as long as we be able to break that cycle, them wells be filled with mud, so we can be able to step on it and have dry land.
So I'm on my way, and all I can ask you, brother, y'all keep in faith. Don't let this thing stop you, because he say for the faith that we can't see is with this coronavirus that we don't understand.
Yeah.
But as long as we continue having the faith, we can walk through it.
Yeah.
In Jesus' name. And I
Amen.
love y'all, and I like everything everybody's saying, man. Because we still on track.
Give Calvin some love right there.
All right.
From down south. Yeah. Calvin, we didn't know y'all could pop no corn like that from down in Mississippi. Well, look here. What TX, are you there? We can't hear you. Hit the mute button.
Yeah.
What's
Can
happening?
you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah. That's why I do what I do with Shalom. Shalom have only seen the purest part of me.
Yeah.
I got her in a position to where she know her daddy don't swear. So I'm teaching her proper language, like she don't say huh or what. I told her, pardon me, or excuse me.
Yes.
So my well-being, a way of life is rubbing off on her very well. Shalom have never seen nothing of her daddy in such a traumatic position. None of that.
Right.
I never let her, she has no clue of none of her past life or any of the stuff that she's seen as of now.
Right. You know, man, I'm gonna tell you, TX, your daughter is the very best part of you. I've the one thing that you do well, brother, better than anything else. You could sell them movies, but you're a better father to that girl than you are selling them movies, and that's really saying something.
Thank you, brother.
Because everybody on the line right now done bought at least one of them movies from you, man.
Right.
Yeah.
That boy, talking about getting in the well, that boy dug in everybody's pocket and said, show us a movie.
I'm still digging.
He's still digging. Look, he's still trying to get in there. Look at what I want to do. I just want to share, man, with the group, man. Wayne is here with me, helping me make this thing happen. Tierre got a little sick tonight, so he's at home, but he was involved earlier. Now we have one pop guy who just came home from prison yesterday. His name is Larry Harris. Does anybody remember Larry?
Yeah. That Harris sounds familiar.
Yeah, Larry Harris. He came out of Lino this time. Now, Larry did a failure to register and got him a 2-year parole violation. Right? And so Larry is back home, and now Larry has come home in the time of this virus. We have Lewis Williams coming home soon. We have Antonio Williams, an 18-year man from Rush City, coming home soon. We have Lazarus Walker coming home from Lino soon, a young poet and a rapper. All these guys are coming to the Pop House Pop One. They're all coming home soon, and they're all coming into a community where this new reality is taking place. And so what we want to do is make sure you're sharing job information and job leads with Wayne or with Tierre, because we are always looking for people who are hiring. And even in this crisis, somebody's hiring. So because when it's bad for somebody, it's good for somebody else. Right? Now it might be bad for some people on the restaurant side, but if you're making toilet paper, they're making toilet paper 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
Somebody's getting paid.
Yeah.
The other thing is that delivery service thing. If you're not doing nothing, that delivery service, what they call it?
DoorDash.
They're the people DoorDashing is making some money because people are ordering from to take out type stuff. And if you got any other leads where people are hiring, we need to know. Donald Amos is looking to get back on in his job. And this new brother, Larry Harris, is looking. He just got out yesterday. He's at Damascus Way. And Tierra's already went out to Damascus Way and engaged with Larry. We're going to try to take him over to Second Chance and see if we can get him started there. But we do have new people coming. We will find a way to get him involved next week. Isaac Brown is on the phone calling. Let me see if I can put him on speaker. Isaac, I missed him. My sister Rhea is on the phone. I hope you're doing good over there. Her building is in quarantine for 14 days. You know, so deal with your quarantine and make this thing happen. But listen, we just want to tell you, man, we got nothing but love for you. We'll be back the next week. I think we're going to start at 6 instead of 5:30 because we want, for those who are working, we want to make sure that you had a chance to get home. So next week we'll start at 6 instead of 5:30. We may come on at 5:30, you know, so it's hot, but I won't start next week until 6. And what I would like for us to do is read the pledge on the way out the door. Everybody ready?
Yes, sir.
I will
I will
balance my family values
Balance my
balance
family
my
values
values
with my goals.
with my
with
goals.
my goals.
I will
I
I
will
will
exercise wisdom
Exercise
exercise
wisdom.
wisdom.
in what I choose to eat,
what I choose to eat,
read, and do.
Read
and do.
and do.
I will
I will
I will
strive to make all my relationships
strive to make all my relationships
win-win,
win-win,
no deal.
no deal.
no deal.
I will,
I
I
will,
will
under every circumstance,
under every circumstance,
maintain a positive attitude.
maintain a
maintain
positive
a positive
attitude.
I will
I
I
will
will
enjoy life
enjoy life
enjoy
with a
life
sense of humor
with a sense of humor
while taking advantage of opportunities
while taking
while
advantage of
taking advantage
opportunities
of opportunities
and learning from my misfortunes.
and learning
and
from my
learning
misfortunes.
from my
I
misfortunes.
will
I will,
act
I
upon
will
circumstances
act upon circumstances
rather than have them act upon me.
rather than
rather
have them
than
act
have them
upon
act
me.
upon me.
I will,
I
I
will,
will
on a daily basis,
on a daily
on a
basis,
daily
be
basis
proactive with my goals.
stay
be
proactive with my
proactive
goals.
with my goals.
I will
I
I
will
will
always protect my wisdom,
always protect my
always
wisdom,
protect my
my
wisdom,
health,
my health,
my
and my
health,
happiness,
and my
my
happiness.
happiness, and
in spite
happiness.
of coronavirus.
In spite of coronavirus,
I will
I
I
will
will
stay principle centered
stay principle
stay
centered,
and
centered
maintain a positive circle of influence
and
maintain a
maintain
positive
a
circle of
positive
influence,
circle of influence
and stop drinking from that old well.
and stop
and
drinking from
stop
that old
drinking from
well.
that old well.
I will
I
I
will
will
daily learn,
daily
commit,
commit
and do.
and do.
and
I
do.
will
I
I
will
will
act according to the PLP Leadership Institute
act according to the
act
PLP
according
Leader
to the
Institute
and be
Institute
productive in my community
and stay
and be
productive in my
productive in my
community
community
and my private life,
and my
and
private
my
life.
private life.
and I won't let stress be ingested by me.
And I won't
And
let
I won't
stress be
let
injected
stress be
by me.
injected by me.
Remember this, stress might be in the car, but it can't be the driver.
All right.
That's right. That's right.
Listen, I got love for y'all. We'll see you next week, but you also can call in, give me a holler, give Tierra a holler. You got the number if you need something. Tony is looking for a new place. We need to get some places. Make sure if you come up on something. Ananiah, how's you doing at your job? Y'all still working?
Yeah, we still working, but we got some things in place to keep us safe.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Tell your family and everybody's family I send nothing but love. We got Chris Owsley's down there with his fiance. Give Chris Owsley's fiance a round of applause.
Yeah. All right, Chris.
Bless you, Chris.
And let me tell you, if that boy clown, you better get the phone and give me a call. Write my number down.
That's
612
right. That's right.
501 She got a pen too.
Yeah.
94.
So he got an army to come see him.
35. And if Chris clown you and get Clownsley, we're gonna run up there on him in Wisconsin.
She didn't get all the numbers.
We're gonna float like a butterfly and stink like a bee.
And Chris, you won't be able to see.
All right, man. Okay, honey. 501-9435. We love you. We'll see you next Tuesday. Have a great week. Do the best you can.
All right, now.
All right.
All right.
Love.